Hello there everyone, this is me Ethan here, and welcome back to another film review. And in today's video, I'll be reviewing the newest film from A24 and director Alex Garland, Civil War. Now, going into this film, I was very curious based on the trailers to see what this would be like. A movie called Civil War, released during an election year. Who knows if this is really the perfect time to release a movie like this? I don't think there's any good time to release a movie about an American Civil War. It's bad regardless. I was also familiar with Alex Garland's work with Ex Machina. I haven't seen anything he's written as far as like 28 Days Later or his other directorial films like Men and Annihilation. I'm not familiar with those. I'm only familiar with Ex Machina, but I really liked Ex Machina, so I was looking forward to this film. Now, I just saw this film yesterday on April 16th on a Tuesday in IMAX, so this film has been out for almost 5 days now, and I was already familiar going into this film what it was going to be like. There was a lot of upset over it being apolitical and being kind of straight down the center, and they do not tell you what the Civil War is about because apparently that's not the main focus of the movie, even despite its title. So going into the film, I knew what to expect, so if my opinion differs from yours, just keep that in mind. This film is absolutely about war photojournalists, and I think this film is packed with a bunch of great performances. We have Kirsten Dunst, Kaylee Spaney, and Wagner Moura as the lead characters. Basically, their whole goal is to go cross-country to meet with the President of the United States to get an interview and to get pictures, which will be very, very easy for them. This is basically a road trip movie, and it's terrifying. I will say Kirsten Dunst's performance was really good. She's just this real, you can tell she's been through some crap, she's seen terrible things, and she's pretty much just desensitized to it. And then you have Kaylee Spaney's character, who looks up to her and really wants to be a war photojournalist and wants to go out and get those perfect pictures, but she is much more new and more sensitized to everything going on in America at the moment, so she's way more hesitant going on this road trip, but she's still eager to get out there and start her work to get those really cool pictures. And it makes an interesting dynamic, and you see as the film progresses how it affects Kirsten Dunst's character and how it affects Kaylee Spaney's character, and they're both very different and very interesting. Wagner Moura, he's like the main guy who's supposed to interview the president, if I remember correctly. He gave a really great performance. I think there were good comedic bits from him occasionally. You can tell he's a lot more in for the action. He's an adrenaline junkie. He's excited about a lot of this stuff, which makes for an even more interesting dynamic. We also finally get our Stephen McKinley Henderson fix after he was cut from Dune Part 2, and I thought he was great here. He adds a nice warmth to most of the film. I enjoyed his character. He's a lot softer than the other three characters, a lot more gentle spoken, which is the role he tends to play in most films, and I liked his performance as well. But by far, Kaylee Spaney was the standout performance for me. Her progression throughout the film was just incredible. Without spoiling anything, I thought it was really well done. However, I think the ending could have gone on a little bit longer to tell more about her. But regardless, she was probably my favorite performance. But the standout for most is Jesse Plemons, who plays just this unnamed sniper character, and everybody's seen the "what kind of American are you?" scene in the trailer, and that's probably the best scene in the movie in my opinion. It was intense. I was on the edge of my seat. You just did not know what this guy was going to do next, and you're threatened by him. And the thing for me about this story is that I did not mind its sort of apoliticalness, if you will, towards the Civil War. It does not tell you how the Civil War happened, how America is divided, where it started, where it's at the moment, why people are the way they are. It's just happening, and it's telling it all through the lens of these photographers, and it keeps basically questioning the morality of the photo. And there's even a line in the film that's like, "If I died, would you take a picture of me?" It's interesting stuff. It really fascinated me. I know some people didn't enjoy that perspective, but I really liked that questioning of how moral is it to take pictures of these wars going on? Shouldn't you be helping out? Shouldn't you be doing something? And also at the same time, so many people are shooting each other in different ways, whether it be with guns or with 35mm cameras. And I find that Very interesting, and I think if the film was called Point and Shoot, which I don't know if that's necessarily the most appropriate title ever, but I think if it was called Point and Shoot, less people would be divided on this film, and they wouldn't be as frustrated that it wasn't as political. Because much of the marketing, even the trailer, makes it look almost like a Roland Emmerich movie, like a disaster movie. It doesn't quite fully tell you that it's about photojournalists. There was marketing about, I think it's California and Texas have joined forces. That does not last long in the movie. It was clearly a marketing scheme to get more people in. Obviously, if this film hadn't been called Civil War, it wouldn't have got as many people in because the title alone gets you fascinated by it, especially in the climate of America today. And I must say the technical aspects of this film are incredible. I believe it only has a $100 million budget, which is fairly low for major blockbusters like this, but this is apparently the most expensive film from A24 that's been produced, so that's kind of fascinating. I thought it looked incredible throughout, some amazing cinematography. There's a shot that you see in the trailer where it tracks a helicopter flying through DC as DC is basically just exploding, and it is insane. I watched this in IMAX, and it was just incredible to witness, and the sound design is absolutely terrifying. It does not glorify the gunshot sounds like you'd hear in John Wick or any other action movie. The gunshots are visceral, and they come out of nowhere. Some scenes will be really quiet, and it does take its time occasionally to slow down with its characters. It is an A24 film. But gunshots will just come out of nowhere. Someone will get shot out of nowhere, and it made me jump multiple times. Especially here, it feels like a horror movie at times, and it is really closer to a war thriller, that's what I call it, but it does feel very horrific at times. There's some very grisly imagery in here that most people are going to be really sensitive to. It's definitely earning its R rating. There are many dead bodies, many shootouts, many intense scenes, and part of why I enjoyed it was that it was able to keep me on edge, and I felt tense the entire time, and I think that's the mark of a successful thriller for sure. And the scariest part of this film is that all of this could actually happen in America or anywhere, and that kind of plays a part in how it's okay that it's not very political and it doesn't tell you why everything is happening, is that anybody can watch this from any sort of country and understand what's going on and understand the viewpoint through the photojournalist, the morality of the photo. Is this okay to take? Am I the bad guy in this situation for taking it? Because it can happen anywhere. It's not just specific to America, and I think that was a great move. And now I understand, if if you just went in based on the trailers and not like me hearing what other people are saying coming out of it, you go into a movie called Civil War, and you're expecting to hear why the Civil War is happening, why Texas and California have joined forces. You want to have answers for this. You want to know why it's happening, and that's totally understandable. And obviously, I went in knowing that I wouldn't get all the answers to it, so I was more satisfied. But even so, I think if I went in blind to it or just with the trailer like many people, I could still understand the lens it was trying to go through. Do I wish it had maybe expanded on some more information? Absolutely. There's many little tidbits here and there that are dropped that could be left up to your interpretation, but it doesn't give you a concrete answer. It would have been nice to get a concrete answer on some of that stuff, but it didn't make or break the film for me. One example is that there's this guy who's waiting to shoot another guy, and the journalist asks, why are you trying to shoot him? And he's like, well, because he's trying to shoot me, duh. And it doesn't take sides at all. It just tells you, okay, there's a disagreement here in some sort of way, and at the end of the day, it's just, this guy's trying to shoot me, so I'm going to try and shoot him and defend myself, and it's totally just, it doesn't dive any deeper than that, and it just leaves it up to your brain, which I always enjoy in movies, whenever it can just leave an ending or what's going on up to your interpretation. I love that stuff. And I also think part of the reason people were upset that this movie didn't get political is so it doesn't shout opinions in your face. It doesn't tell you what to think about the Civil War, because that's not, at the end of the day, what it's about. It's about journalists going out in a war, taking pictures of these absolutely terrifying acts and asking, is this okay? Should we be doing something different? How does this affect us behind the camera shooting people as other people are shooting people? I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, but It really wasn't about the Civil War, despite its title, and I think that's the major reason that so many people have been disappointed by it. I'm giving Civil War an 8 out of 10. Civil War may not deliver on its title, but I ended up thoroughly enjoying it. The film does not take sides, and it doesn't try and tell you what to think because that's not the point. It tells a story about photojournalists that is intriguing and also horrifying. I admittedly did want to know more as a viewer, but I overall understood what the film was going for and enjoyed what it explores. I would recommend this film, just go in knowing what type of film it is. So what did you think of Civil War if you have seen it? Let me know any and all opinions in the comments section down below, and please keep it civil. So if you all enjoyed this review and if you all enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, I will see you all in the next one. Bye and have a great day.